If you're looking to move to Tampa Bay, you've probably heard of both the suburbs, Riverview and Brandon. These are big ones that a lot of people consider when they move here because they're great for families. They're both pretty close to downtown Tampa and central to a lot of other places that you'll want to have access to if you move to the Tampa Bay area. But there are some major differences between these two suburbs. So, in today's video, I'm going to break down what those differences are so that you're well informed and can make a good decision as far as which suburb you would rather live in. Hi, my name is Celia, and I am a realtor here in the Tampa Bay area. I help people find the perfect place for them to live, and I post YouTube videos every single week about what it's actually like to live in Tampa Bay and the home buying process here. So, if that content interests you, like this video and subscribe to my channel, and let's get into it. So, first, let's talk about commute times. Brandon is more centrally located than Riverview to places like MacDill Air Force Base and downtown Tampa, a lot of those popular places where people are commuting for work. So some people opt for Brandon simply because it is a little bit more convenient as far as commute times. That being said, both Brandon and Riverview are huge suburbs. And so it really is going to come down to where you buy or rent a home as far as the commute that you can expect. Because I've also strategically worked with people to find places in Riverview that are also a reasonable commute to downtown Tampa, to MacDill Air Force Base. So it is doable and not necessarily a deal breaker, but Brandon does tend to be a little bit closer in most cases. The other main difference between Brandon and Riverview is that Brandon is a little bit more of an established community. That suburb has been around for a longer amount of time than Riverview. Riverview really started to take off and explode about 10 to 15 years ago. And so that just means Brandon has a little bit more as far as a mall and a shopping center, more businesses that are going to be closer if you actually live in Brandon. However, if you live in Riverview, it really wouldn't be too far to just head over to Brandon and enjoy some of the shops in the mall that they have in that area. And so it's not necessarily a deal breaker for most people, but in Brandon, you are going to have a little bit more of that well established suburb feel versus in Riverview, you have a little bit more of that exploding new suburb feel. Now, that leads me to my next point, which is because Riverview really started to explode about 10 to 15 years ago, it has a lot of that new construction, master plan community type feel. And so that is very attractive for a lot of buyers. However, that typically comes with HOA fees. So you're a lot more likely to pay for an HOA and pay a higher amount in Riverview because you have these kind of communities that have resort style pools and tennis courts, which are really nice amenities that a lot of people want and are willing to pay for. But if you don't want to pay an HOA or you'd rather have a cheaper HOA, then Brandon is typically going to be the better option for that. And so, because Brandon was established a while back and has been a well established suburb for a while, you're going to find a lot of homes that are from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And that's okay because that means that typically you're getting a lot more space for your dollar. But if you're someone who really wants new construction, that very clean feel, you don't want to necessarily do a lot of work and make a home your own, you want turnkey, then Riverview would probably be the better option for you. However, homes in Riverview tend to be a little bit more expensive than homes in Brandon. But they're both known for being pretty affordable suburbs that are in close proximity to downtown Tampa and MacDill Air Force Base. So you really can't go wrong, but you'll probably notice during your home search that you'll get a little bit more bang for your buck in Brandon versus Riverview, but you might need to make some of your own updates as well. Now, as far as lifestyle, like I've mentioned, Brandon has been an established suburb in Tampa for a while. And so with that comes a lot of restaurants, shops, activities to do that are already there, versus Riverview has more of that booming new suburb feel, meaning that there are a lot of new businesses opening in Riverview, but there's less established things to do. And so it kind of just depends on the vibe that you want. If you want a community that feels really well established, you want those ma and pa restaurants that have been there for a while, then Brandon is probably the best for you. But if you really like that brand new, clean, aesthetic, new suburb vibe, then Riverview is probably going to be a better option for you. So, which is going to be better for you? You should choose Brandon if you want a more established neighborhood and more bang for your buck, and you don't want to pay a massive HOA fee. You should choose Riverview if you like that clean, modern aesthetic. You want something that's a fairly new build or a brand new build, and you're willing to pay an HOA fee for a resort style pool and tennis courts, and also having the exterior maintained for you. Then Riverview is probably the best option for you. And honestly, both of them are reasonable commutes to places like Hyde Park Village and downtown Tampa, some of those more popular attractions that people like to go and spend time to during the weekends. And so, just because you live in one community versus another doesn't limit your ability to spend time other places, of course. If you're planning a move to the Tampa Bay area and you are considering what is going to be the best place for you to move to that fits your vibe, that fits your lifestyle, I would love to help you out during your home search. Whether you're going to be buying or renting, I help people every day figure out the best place for them that fits into their overall budget and their lifestyle. The best way to get in contact and start working with me is to text Tampa to 612-963-8420.